Rebecca in Rochester, New York. Rebecca, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
I'm Rebecca. I'm not hearing the dinging.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry you are, but I'm glad you're living the dream.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I am living the dream, and I'm here to help you.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Great. Well, I was living the dream briefly, and I'm calling you because I know you can get me back into it.
Oh, boy. That's a lot of pressure. Here we go.
No, I know you can. All right. I got my first job as an activity director a few years ago, having had, I didn't come through the ranks. I wasn't an assistant director. I just got it on the strength of my ideas and volunteer work. I was on, you know what? Let me tell you my goal, what I want from you, then I'll finish with the background.
Okay.
The goal I want from you, I was fired from 2 jobs. I'm about to apply for a third. I want to know, should I leave one of the jobs out? How should I handle them? So now I'm finishing the background.
Okay.
So I was hired as an activity director by the first place. I worked 3 months. I was fired. If you want the details, I'll give it, but I don't think that's important. I can tell you the ombudsman thought I was amazing. The residents thought I was amazing. Their relatives thought I was the best thing that ever happened.
Rebecca, honestly, at this point, it's your show. I'm just here. I'm just following along. This is fantastic.
Okay. All right. Then shortly after that, by pure luck, when applying for another job, again, on the strength of my ideas, she didn't even check what happened with my previous job. She hired me. And again, the residents absolutely loved me. My boss never, ever went to any of the activities that I organized that were so successful, never interviewed any of the people who I worked with who loved me. She had complaints from a very few people. There was one worker there who had taken an instant dislike to me, which is not something that usually happens.
Okay. All right, so Rebecca.
The first job I worked 3 months. The second job I worked 8 months. How in the world am I going to apply to a third job with that kind of record? They're never going to believe me.
Not true.
How do I do it? Do I not mention the first one? How do I do this?
Okay, so first thing is you realize that you are not what has happened to you. And I think that you're really struggling, and I understand why. You feel like you've just kind of gotten hit with a right hand and then a left hook, It's like, whoa, 2 things happen here. But the reality is that going to be a hindrance for some people? Yes. If you completely rely on the way that everybody else does it in applying for a job, which is they submit a resume through the system, and they hope that they get a call. It's like playing the lottery, okay? What I teach and what I'm going to help you with, because you told me I have to, and I'm very nervous. If I don't help you, I could be in big trouble here. But the reality is that you have to go, what is going to get me hired? Is it going to be my resume, or is it going to be my relationships that allow me to truly get an interview that is based on what I can do, not what I present on paper? And so that's where you go.
That's how I felt, but how can I convince them of the relationships? Do I give them phone numbers?
No. I'm in the middle of telling you. So your relationships will recommend you. They will open up doors for you. So you've identified this job. You're calling it the third job, but you've identified it. That's what you want to go after. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Okay. So it's in your area where you live, right? In Rochester, New York area?
Well, I'm looking to move, and it is in the area where I want to move.
Okay, but is that like another state?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So what you have to do is you have to say, all right, how can I make a connection in that company? Do I know anybody that knows somebody that works there? Have you tried that?
I do know somebody who works for a different branch of that. They run senior facilities around the country, so I know somebody who works for a different branch. Perfect.
And it sounds like they're pretty high up. They've got some real credibility in the organization because of what they do. So what you're going to do is you start with that person. Now, we're not going to limit this strategy to that person, but you start there and you go, hey, here's the deal. Here's my story. and you do a wonderful job of setting them up. You tell them to just listen and hold tight like you just told me. And you just tell them everything. Now, here's the deal. Here's what happened. This, and then this happened. And this was an outlier. This is not who I am. It was tough luck, or whatever you want to call it. But you don't focus on all that. All right? You just go in and go, hey, I'm looking for this gig. Nobody needs to know your backstory. I needed that context a little bit, but the rest of the world won't. So I wouldn't go into the detail. I would just say, here's the deal. This is what I want. My previous work history is the last two things have been quick because they've just been bad culture things, and I realized it, and I've made, or whatever. Whatever you choose to tell them. If they ask questions, you always tell the truth. But the reality is you go, I want this job. I'm a good fit for this job. Walk through your talent, passion, and mission. Show them how it aligns. And say, look, if I apply, I'm going to be in this giant stack of resumes. And I'm asking you, based on our relationship, based on what I just told you, if you are confident, or what do you need for me to get confident, that to make the decision that I'm a good fit for this role? And then will you get in the old company Rolodex, because they can, and will you reach out to the hiring manager, even though you don't know them? I'm asking you to do this for me because this is a game changer. It's in another state. I don't know a ton of people in this area. Will you call that hiring manager? Will you email that hiring manager? By the way, it's all these things. Send my resume directly to them. I will submit it through the tracking system. You tell them that, but I'm asking you to go above and beyond here and endorse me, as well as submit my resume to them and say, hey, I think she's worth an interview. Now, is that going to work every time, folks? Not every time. Does it work more often than the way you are submitting resumes and the way most people do? Yes, it works. How do I know this? Because up until this point in my journey, I had not done a traditional interview or a resume submission in 20 plus years. Every step that I moved up the ladder, folks, it was always a relationship because I had the guts to connect my fanny off and ask for favors for people that I had done favors for. And I always got opportunities. I never went through the traditional way. And so there is a way. It does work. And oh, by the way, we get email after email and social media post after social media post that this stuff works. It's why I created the resume guide. So Madison, let's make sure that Rebecca has all three of the Get Hired guides. One is the resume. It comes with an actual how-to article. It's a PDF that walks you through step by step on how to transform your resume. We show you how to do it. We tell you why to do it. And then we give you a template so that all you do is plug your information in. We're going to make you look so good. But again, even my resume is worthless without a relationship. Hear me say that. Your resume is worthless without a relationship attached to it. Oh, Ken, you're being dramatic. Okay. The reason I have a show is because the old way ain't working, folks. My way works. I don't care if you like it or not, use it. You don't even have to give me credit. I don't care. But it works. It works at Fortune 500 companies. We've had that testimonial from people. Hiring managers look at our resume and they see that the bold statement of who I know at the top, and they see these endorsement statements. They go, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And guess what they do? They reach out to people and go, talk to me about this. You're welcome. I just pulled you out of the pile. Yes, I'm a little smarmy about it, Joe. I'm a little smug about it because it works. Because listen, you want to stand out, you've got to do something different. Not a new concept. Not original to the Ken Coleman Show. You know it, and I know it. I'm telling you how to do it. The second Get Hired guide is how to win the interview. Preparation is the key to performance. Relentless preparation leads to, listen, reflexive performance. How is it that these great quarterbacks can do a drive in a minute and a half? Because they've practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. Then they've gone to the film room and they've watched film and they've watched film and they've watched film. So that in this moment of great pressure, which an interview is, they perform in that 2-minute drill with no timeouts and 300-pound men trying to kill them. They perform reflexively because they've prepared.